is Rachel Cram, and I'm the director of Wind and Tide. Thank you so much for choosing Wind and Tide for your child. It is our privilege to be a part of their educational journey. The purpose of this DVD is to give you as parents information on how and what your child will be learning over their year at Wind and Tide. Research lets us know that if parents know this information, if you know how and what your child is learning, they will do so much better at school. Research also lets us know that birth to 6 is the most influential period of our entire life. It's during this time that we'll learn 90% of what we'll ever know. At Wind and Tide, we take this responsibility very seriously. We want you to know that when your child is with us, we will be making sure that they are learning and experiencing wonderful things that will make a difference as they grow into adulthood. Each day when you arrive at school, there'll be a teacher standing right at the door to greet you and your child. This is a great opportunity for you to give the teacher any information that might help her support your child well during that day. So say grandma's coming at the end of the day and your child's very excited, tell the teacher. Or maybe the dog ran away and your child's very worried, tell the teacher that too, so that as she goes through the day with your child, she can support them well. There are some things that you might want to tell your teacher that are of a more negative connotation. We would ask that you please would not discuss these types of things at the door, but instead give the teacher a call so that you can set up an opportunity to speak about it in private. At the end of the day, there'll always be a teacher right at the door of the classroom or the gate of the playground if the children are playing outside, and this will be a chance for her to let you know if anything happened during the day. There'll always be lots of wonderful things for her to tell you, and you will enjoy hearing those bits of news. But if there's anything of a more weighty matter, she will give you a call at home. So again, she can talk to you in private. At the end of the school day, if someone comes to pick up your child who we have never met, they are going to need to give us your code word so that we know they have your permission to let them go. If you cannot remember your code word, please ask your teacher. Each month ends with a party day celebration, typically occurring on the last class day of the month during the first half hour of class.
At the party, your child will demonstrate songs, poems, and discussions showing what they have learned that month at preschool. Party days are a great opportunity for you to see what your children have been learning, to meet their friends, get to know their teachers, and meet other parents of children in the class. A video announcement highlighting the next month's activities will also be shown at the beginning of the party as the children get ready to perform. If you missed that announcement or want to see it again, it will be available on the website in your parent portal.
The classroom bulletin board is another important place for parent-teacher communication. It's usually located right by where the shoes and coats are as you come into the classroom.
We'll also send home notices throughout the year, pieces of information reminding you of upcoming events. Our parent handbooks are distributed at the open house. If you have not yet received a handbook, please call the office or ask your teacher to provide you one. It's important you read the parent handbook from cover to cover so that there are no surprises. We also have calendars for each semester. The calendar of fall activities is distributed early in October, and by the end of January or the beginning of February, you will have received your spring semester calendar.
Each Wind and Tide location has a regional director who is there to help you with any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have. All regional directors have worked for Wind and Tide for many years in a teaching capacity. Now they go into Wind and Tide classes to observe, help, support, bring supplies, and just be a general encouragement to the staff. If you do want to talk to your regional director, her contact information is posted at the class. There'll be her name, her picture, and a business card that you are welcome to take. Early childhood is a particularly important period in child development. This is a time when your child will learn social skills, develop concepts, and form values and attitudes that will last them a lifetime.
During these crucial formative years, children need educators and a learning environment that enlivens their natural inclination for wonderment, excitement, and curiosity. We have high expectations for a child's learning abilities and nurturant staff who strive to make children aware of their own unique talents and skills. At Wind and Tide, we recognize each child as a unique individual with their own special capabilities. Our environment is warm, accepting, and designed to promote self-confidence, optimum growth, and development. We give each child focused personal attention while at the same time promoting a feeling of group belonging.
Wind and Tide provides a rich, semi-structured environment and incorporates a flexible approach to learning. Within the daily schedule, there's lots of room for your child to develop at their own pace, socially, emotionally, intellectually, and physically.
Our preschool and daycare programs are enacted across 5 broad concepts, like the 5 pedals of our pinwheel. They provide the motivation to the daily life in our facilities. These motivating precepts are global awareness, environmental understanding, logic and reasoning, literacy, arts and music.
Social development takes place in ever-expanding circles, culminating eventually in a perspective of global awareness. It starts with an understanding of who we are and how we affect those closest to us, our friends and our family. And as we grow and our sphere of influence grows, we learn what it means to be a part of a school, a team, a local community, a city, right on up to being a citizen and responsible member of our global community. During your child's years at Wind and Tide, we want them to learn how to identify and express their own personal feelings. We want them to learn how to enter play situations successfully. We want them to learn how to resolve conflicts when they come up, without always needing the help of a parent or a teacher. But most importantly, we want them to leave Wind and Tide knowing that they can and should be friends with everybody.
Embedded into every day at school is an hour and a half of free playtime. During this time, the children can use the housekeeping area, the blocks, the Play-Doh table, the water station, books, Lego. There are so many things for them to do. This time provides the perfect opportunity for personal social development. It also gives us an opportunity to demonstrate and teach the children how to solve problems, how to express their feelings, how to enjoy one another, how to enter play situations. It is a time when we can work with the children on understanding their social relationships more completely.
Over and above free playtime and the teachable moments that it provides, we also have a creative way of introducing some of the foundational social concepts. We call this curriculum Going for Goodness. Each month in our 3-year-old classes, we focus on specific social attributes or virtues. For example, we look at virtues such as helpfulness, thankfulness, and generosity.
Each month, the teachers introduce the new Going for Goodness virtue. They do so using a funny role play where they demonstrate the wrong way to handle a social situation, and hilarity ensues. After the role play, the teachers seek the children's advice on what went wrong and reenact the role play using the children's suggestions. No one likes to see their teacher make such glaring social mistakes. Throughout the month, the teachers and children will be watching for chances to practice the virtue.
Wind and Tide has partnered with Union Gospel Mission and Free the Children, providing our students with opportunities to make a difference in the broader social realm. These opportunities provide some of the early building blocks for a sense of social responsibility and compassion.
Our first project of the year begins in November in partnership with the Vancouver-based Union Gospel Mission. Since 2007, the annual response to this project from Wind and Tide families has been overwhelming. The children have provided stuffed Christmas stockings, collected unwrapped gifts and cards, and assembled complete Christmas hampers. More recently, we thought all the families who participate in this exchange might appreciate a more personal connection. The staff at the Union Gospel Mission work throughout the year with numerous families across the Lower Mainland, helping them move to more stable economic situations. As part of this ongoing relationship, they put together a specific, detailed need and wish list for over 50 families.
We want children to be aware that life goes on in communities all around the world, and we want to instill in them a sense of belonging and social responsibility to that wider social community. In February, we begin our second project, a Dance-a-thon fundraiser.
Since 2004, the 3 and 4-year-olds have danced for children in developing countries, raising money to furnish schools, provide medical care, and address malnutrition. We have partnered with Free the Children to help these children achieve their fullest potential. Basic education is critical if they are to have a future. Without access to primary education, the hope of transformation simply will not be realized. The Dance-a-thon helps us explore our world and discuss what it means to help others in need. Let no one say that young children cannot make a difference.
In this early stage of mental development, we introduce some of the foundations of logic and reasoning, ideas and actions that we think about and use throughout our life.
In the classroom, the opportunities to learn logic and reasoning are multitude. Its simplest but perhaps most profound expression occurs during free play, when children themselves discover basic cause and effect. Why blocks fall over, how trucks move downhill, what happens when we mix colors. Our classrooms are full of opportunities for children to learn through self-directed exploration, and we daily introduce new tools, craft materials, books and toys to enrich their understanding. We also introduce logic and reasoning through pictographic sentences. These are simple word pictures used regularly throughout the day to plan and express activities and ideas. We also have a pictographic solution center where children can explore and share solutions to personal and social problems with each other. It is a pre-literary use of symbols and logic, consistent with a young child's developmental stage, and it is remarkably effective. During the 3-year-old year, we also introduce the children to some foundational concepts in math, or rather, we introduce them to the Mad Math Hat. The Mad Math Hat is a crazy hat that visits the preschool classroom weekly. The hat arrives brimming with new information and speaks to the teacher in amazing ways. And when the teacher eventually puts the hat on her head, he speaks to her in a manner only she can hear. And the things he tells her. Seriation, symmetry, addition, geometry. The children love when the Mad Math Hat comes to class. Somehow he always seems to know exactly what they are learning, and he always shares helpful information, tools, and materials to make math fun.
Each month, our Mad Math Hat will be bringing us a new theme. If you want to know what that theme is, you can check your class bulletin board, your calendar, or our website. You will want to know what we are learning in math. Enjoyment and personal success in school is significantly influenced by how well we can read. Literacy emerges in a young baby as they hear sounds and have them identified by caring adults. It continues on into early childhood as children acquire oral language skills through conversation and hearing stories read aloud.
In the 3 and 4-year-old years, we lay the foundation for reading and writing. We begin to introduce pre-literacy skills in the 3-year-old year by playing fun games that help children to recognize that letters make sounds, including those in their own names. We read lots of stories, both in groups and one-on-one, and children spend time on their own in the library center, poring over the pictures, books, and stories associated with our monthly themes. In the 4-year-old year, we introduce the children to Detective Dave and his family, the Fun Family. With the help of Detective Dave, children will discover the joy of reading as they hunt for phonetic clues in the world around them. Through the Fun Family Phonics program, the children learn the letters of the alphabet, the sounds they make, and how to print them. And by the end of the 4-year-old year, children are ready to begin reading 3-letter words.
The literacy programs at Wind and Tide lay a strong foundation for our children's subsequent achievement. Affluent literacy benefits us all and helps our children reach their full human potential.
Science and preschool mix like cake and ice cream. You heard that right. Young children love science, and everything to do with science fascinates them. And why shouldn't it? Our world is a fascinating, fragile environment, and science is the lens that helps us see it all clearly. That's why environmental understanding is the 3rd motivating precept at Wind and Tide, and one we start with right away. In fact, 3-year-olds will start exploring their environment immediately in beginner's biology. The world of biology is the most familiar to children, and there is nothing boring about any of it. Beginner's biology examines the world of living things, something children are in contact with every single day because they are living things themselves. And the exploration of our surroundings continues in the 4-year-old year with A World of Wonders, the follow-up to beginner's biology. We branch out with a blast, covering everything from the solar system to dinosaurs to the world of insects. We want to encourage a love and excitement for science that will influence our children to view and treat their environment with care and responsibility.
It's difficult to distinguish the color of any one petal on a spinning pinwheel, and daily life at Wind and Tide is very much like that. All the motivating precepts of global awareness, environmental understanding, literacy, logic and reasoning overlap and blend into a ride of activity and growth. The 5th motivating precept at Wind and Tide is no exception: arts and music.
For most young children, creative arts, music, and movement are not distinct subjects. They are natural expressions of their curiosity and growth. And we provide our children with a rich environment in which to express their creativity. During free play, there are always fresh opportunities to draw or drum, sing or sculpt, paint or pirouette, dress-up corners to enact their dreams, and construction sets to build their creations. And during our circle time, all our more structured curriculum are supported by original music and lyrics, written expressly for Wind and Tide. These are engaging, fun songs that the whole family will love to sing at school, at home, or in the car. This is not just music for children, it is music for the child in all of us. In the 4-year-old year, we explore the lives of 9 major artists. Artists who expressed their thoughts and ideas in the face of fairly consistent adversity. Today, they are remembered and revered because they persisted in their visions. They have shown the world new ways to see beauty, and we want children to begin their artistic pursuit feeling empowered to create for their own sense of joy, rather than seek the accolades of others.
And now we're moving on to our final portion of our DVD, the part we call the Soapbox Speech. A number of years ago, we realized as a Wind and Tide team that there was a reoccurring problem that was happening within our schools, and it wasn't a problem to do with the children, it was more a problem to do with the parents. And to address this problem, I started to go into the schools and speak to parents one-on-one. That became really awkward and kind of embarrassing too. So instead of doing that one-on-one approach, we changed it to the Soapbox Speech. In the next few moments, what you're going to watch is that presentation. And what it covers is how you as parents feel as your child starts school. When your child begins at Wind and Tide, or any school for that matter, it is a whole new social experience for them. But what you may not have realized is it's also a whole new social experience for you. And that can have some pitfalls. Not quite yet. Okay, I started giving this speech about 7 years ago because about 7 years ago, I realized that there was a very common trend of a problem that I could see happening in preschool, and it started to be very embarrassing to deal with it on a one-on-one level with parents. I also started to notice it because before I had children of my own, I knew everything about raising children. And as I raised other people's children, I would think to myself, what is with it with these parents? Why can they not get it right? And then I gave birth to my own child and I thought, oh my goodness, I've made such a fool out of myself being so judgmental. Because when you're actually the mom in there doing it, it's a completely different story. So there's this a trend that I started to realize was happening with parents. And as I was a mom myself, I started realizing it happened in me as well. So I'm going to address it with all of you all together. And although we only probably have like 1/8 of our total 3-year-old preschool population here, if 1/8 of you I can convince to follow me in this soapbox speech, we could have a really, really awesome preschool year. So this is it. A little background story of how this happens. This is my theory. When you give birth to your first child, you have no idea how much you're gonna love the little guy. Sure, we all want to have kids and we look forward to it. I have wanted to have kids my whole life. In fact, to me, when I was younger, I used to think, once I'm finished having children, what is going to be the point of living? Because all the fun's going to be gone then. I wanted to have kids so badly. I've always loved kids. But even with that, I had no idea how much you love them. So 15 years ago, I gave birth at Peace Arch Hospital to my first child. And I went through bazillions of hours of labor and finally pushed the little guy out. And when he lay on my stomach, all covered in all the goo, I looked at him and I thought to myself, I love him so much, I could lick that stuff off of him. In fact, many animals do that. And when he had his first cold and his nose was completely stuffed up, my heart broke so much for him that I was willing, I didn't actually do it, but I could have sucked it out of his nose just so that he'd be able to breathe better, because it made me so sad for him that he was so stuffed up. Now, luckily since then, they've developed those little squeezy outy snotty things, but they didn't have those 15 years ago. I was blown away by how much I loved him. And I remember my husband and I so many times, we are the most emotional, weepy, pathetic pair there is anyways, but so many times just being like, I love him so much. And I was like, I know, I love him so much too. It blew me away. Birth was a complete miracle. And the incredible package I had afterwards stunned me. And that love is an incredible thing. And I truly believe that God gives you that love so that you do not kill them as you're raising them. Because there's so many times that you're like, love them, kill them, love them, and luckily love them wins out. But that love is a double-edged sword. And with that love, as you come to preschool, a little tricky thing can often start to happen. And why I want to tell you this is because in preschool, we are going to work so hard to teach your children so much about what it means to be kind and to be friends with everybody and to behave graciously. And the number one teacher of children is not us, which is a good thing. It's you as parents. And I know as I gave you that socialization talk, you probably all listened to it going, go girl, yeah, you go Rachel. That's what we want for our kids, inclusiveness. It's all about inclusiveness. You tell these parents it's all about inclusiveness. And it sounds so good when you're sitting in here. But when you get into the moment where your child comes home and tells you somebody called me a dum-dum stinking head, let me tell you that inclusiveness is not gonna jump to your mind. Murder is going to jump to your mind. Who would call your precious child a dum-dum stinking head? And probably a lot of you have already experienced that. I realized for myself, I had the best friendships before I had children. And as I had children and my friends had children, all of a sudden, things started to get a little bit more tense. Because all of a sudden, there's these little issues about how are you raising your kids, what's my child doing to your child, who's smarter, who's better, who's brighter. And that stuff is evil, but we all experience it. And in preschool, it can be the number one destroyer of the type of unity that we want your children to experience when they're in preschool with us. So my soapbox today is to tell you and to warn you that at preschool, your child is going to be called things like a dum-dum stinking head. They might have somebody hit them. They might have situations where other kids get invited to a birthday party and they don't. You might arrive sometime and see somebody saying to them, "You're not my friend." Those things are devastating because you love your kids so much. And how you respond in those situations are the number one ways that your children are going to pick out what it means to be kind to everybody, to be inclusive to everybody, even if they don't think about things the same way all the time as your child does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little skit about how things could go. And it seems a bit funny, but I think I'm always guaranteeing you that these things happen. Colleen and I are going to do it together. So Colleen, come on up. Let's just lower these down a bit. Okay, can you pick us up still, Dan? Or pull it closer? Is it good? Okay, pull it a bit closer. Okay, we're gonna pretend that it is dinner time and we're at the dinner table and Colleen's my little girl. This is my husband over here, the podium. And we are gonna show you what sometimes can happen. So Colleen, how was your day at school today, sweetie? Did you have a good day?
I did.
Good. Did you play with some friends and play with some stations like the Play-Doh or anything like that?
I played with Play-Doh.
Did you? What color is the Play-Doh right now?
Pink.
Oh, you love pink. That's so fun. I'm so glad you get to play with Play-Doh at school.
Me too.
What else happened? Did you do some fun things? Play with some fun kids?
I did.
Yeah.
Today Johnny hit me.
What?
Yeah, he hit me, and then
Who hit you?
Johnny hit me.
Oh my goodness, you're not gonna believe this, honey. This Johnny kid, he is totally out of control. Where did he hit you, honey? Where did he hit you?
Oh, he hit me here.
Oh my goodness, right there on her head. It's so close to her temple where he hit her. He could have killed her. Honey, right there. Oh, honey, tell mommy about it. What happened?
He was being really mean.
Oh, he was being really mean. That is so mean. This kid is totally out of control. I'm definitely talking to the teacher about this. Okay, honey, tell me. What were you doing? I bet you were just sitting there doing nothing, weren't you?
Yeah, I was playing with the Play-Doh, and he just hit me.
You were sitting there just playing with the Play-Doh, being such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And he came and hit you?
And he hit me. Right.
Oh, what did you do? What did you do when he hit you?
I cried.
Did you cry? Did you tell the teacher?
Yeah.
You did? And did she go tell me he was a naughty, naughty boy?
No.
No. Oh, this has got to stop. I can't believe this. All the moms in the playground are talking about this Johnny kid. I can't believe it. He's so immature. Okay, listen, honey. We've got to come up with a plan here. You know what? In our family, I know that we don't hit, and you know that we don't hit. Because in our family, we don't do things like that. But obviously, his mommy and daddy have not taught him things like that. So listen. What I want you to do is, when you are playing next time, just being the sweet little girl that you are, if he comes towards you, I just want you to quickly put down what you're doing and you walk away from him. Okay. You know what? We are ladies here in our family, and you don't need to say anything unkind to him. You just walk away. I don't want you playing with him.
Okay.
And you just tell him he can play with somebody else. I don't want you to get hit again. We're going to work this out, honey. I'm going to talk to your teacher. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. Okay, and stop. So that might seem a little dramatic, but I have to tell you that often when you are in the situation hearing what happened to your precious child, you can feel so tempted to respond like that. And as you're watching, you can see how totally unhealthy that is, especially if your child is Johnny. But now I'm going to show you another way to deal with it, and a way that I would suggest you sort of process yourself. Okay. So, Colleen, how was school today, honey? Did you have fun?
I did have fun.
Yeah, what did you play with?
I played with the Play-Doh today.
Really, what color was it?
Pink,
oh,
my
I
favorite.
love pink. That's so great. And what else happened today?
Johnny hit me today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was reaching over to get something and he bonked me in the head.
Oh, did that make you feel a little bit sad?
It did. It hurt a little bit, but it was an accident.
Was it an accident? Where did he bump you?
Just here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you tell the teacher?
I did, and she came over and we talked about it, and he said sorry, it was an accident.
Oh, that's good. That's good. This little Johnny guy, he's such a sweetheart, but he needs a little bit of friendship. You know what? When I was a little girl, there was this boy in my class. Sometimes he would bump me too or hit me. And you know what I figured out? He just wanted to be my friend. He wanted to play with me. Do you think he might want to play with you?
I'm not sure.
You know what? Sometimes when kids want to play with you, their bodies just get kind of like goofy and their arms go just because they're kind of excited. It doesn't mean that he doesn't like you. I bet he just wants to be your friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we could have him over to play. Maybe he needs a friend. Do you think you might like to have him over to play? I know who his mommy is. She's super nice.
Not right now.
Well, not right now because we're eating supper, but maybe we could have him over next week or something. Do you think you'd like me to invite him over? I would like to have him over because his mommy's super nice, and I bet he needs a good friend.
Maybe one day.
Yeah,
Maybe
and we
just
can
one
play
day.
with you, and I think it would be good. That's a good idea, eh?
Okay.
Okay. And stop. Thanks, Colleen. It is incredible what can be said on a playground. And as I have spent time going with my children through preschool and elementary school, there have been so many times that I have been tempted to go down the line of talking about other people's children. And parenting is so guilt-ridden already that we do not need the extra comments of parents analyzing, criticizing our children to add on to it. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child, and if our village is gossipy and critical and looking to make our kids look better than other people's kids, if we're looking at kids when they're 3 and 4 and thinking they're immature or out of control and making comments on that, your village quickly breaks down to a place where we all have to go into our own little family islands because nowhere else is safe. And as you come into Wind and Tide with your precious, amazing gifts that you love so much, please recognize that each parent comes with their precious, amazing child that they love so very much. They all come with their strengths and with their weaknesses. We have children that are so shy that they would absolutely never hit, but they also wouldn't talk to anybody in the class either. We have kids that are so full of life and energy that their bodies rebound around the room, and unfortunately people get bashed every once in a while. In our classroom, we work very hard to keep your children safe, and we have never had anything happen that has been scary with kids. But that is what socialization is all about. It's about that inclusiveness of saying, this is the way I think, but how do you think? And I can be friends with you. And it's easier, so much easier for your 3 and 4-year-olds to do that than it is for us as adults. It starts in the playground, when you're talking with parents after school, when you have a child that comes over to your house and something bizarre happens, like they bite your cat, and your decision not to spread it around to the neighbors and the other people that child bit your cat, but just keeping that to yourself and thinking, isn't that a great character? Biting the cat, who would have thought? These little ones have only been around for 2 and 3 years. It is amazing that they can walk and speak. Let's not expect them to be socially perfect. And I want to say for myself and for our staff and for you guys, we've only been around for 20, 30, 40 years. Let's not expect ourselves to be perfect. We're all here doing the best job that we can, and we want our communities to be places where it is safe to raise our children, knowing that we can lean on other families for support and for compassion and to believe in us as we do the most difficult task that there is of raising another human being. So at Wind and Tide, we want that. And there's only a quarter of you here, an eighth of you here, but if you go back into your schools, you don't need to preach the My Little Soapbox speech. In fact, you'll look pretty obnoxious if you do that. But on the playground, if somebody says to you, look at that little kid, whoa, out of control, all you need to say is, oh, I love his character, I think he's adorable. That's it, it'll end the conversation. So if I can encourage you to believe in the potential of your child, but know that you are the number one teacher. Prepare your heart for those times when you want to protect them so much, because what your child needs more than being protected is a bigger worldview about how do other people think and how do they put other people before themselves. We know these years of learning are so crucial and informative for your child. Thank you so much for choosing Wind and Tide. As you have watched this DVD, we hope you now understand how and what they will be learning, and we hope you're excited. We look forward to a fantastic year with your family.